Stop trying to edit from outer space. Zoom in. What up, YouTube? This your boy, Wavy Wayne, and that's right. We're going to talk about zooming in Pro Tools. We're going to go over all the zoom controls so that you can quit editing from outer space. You can't edit it if you can't see it, baby. So we're going to get a little bit closer to that audio. Somebody hit me up with some auto-tune, please. Shout out to yourself, though, for watching this video. Make sure y'all use that coupon code, the Wavy Way, and get 10% off on your next Pro Tools template. Now let's get into it, all right? Now, first, Pro Tools has several different ways that you can actually zoom. One of the ways being the standard zoom tool. Now, we're going to check that out. Now, here's the zoom tool right here in our edit toolbar. When you click on it to highlight that zoom tool, this is simply how it works. When you need to zoom in on a section, you click on the section you want to zoom in. You can even click and drag to zoom in on a range. So if I want to zoom in on this little blurb here, I could click and drag to zoom in there. To zoom out, you simply just hold the Option key as you click with the zoomer tool, or if you on a PC, that'll be the Alt key, okay? There's another function of the zoomer tool too. If you see there's a little arrow at the bottom, if you click and hold, if you click and hold on the zoom tool, you can change to single zoom. Now, single zoom works for whenever you jump into single zoom, it'll allow you to make one quick zoom and then it'll automatically change back to whatever tool you were using previously. So if you are going to use the zoomer tool, I would recommend using single zoom, right? But honestly, I don't recommend using that zoomer tool at all. But before I move on and tell you why not, I'm gonna point out one more thing. If you are down to take your Avid certification, so for all my Pro Tools students out there, one of the points on that certification is a question that pops up often, asks us, how can you use the zoomer tool here to quickly zoom out and fill your edit window with the longest track in your session? And the quickest way to do that, as I'm zoomed in so far right now, is to just double click on the zoomer tool icon, and then it'll automatically zoom my window and zoom my window out and fit my entire session to the screen, okay? But again, I do not recommend that you use the zoomer tool at all. Pro Tools has a bunch of shortcuts that you can use to make your sessions flow a lot more quickly, and you work a whole lot more efficiently by using those shortcuts. One of my favorite shortcuts for zooming in and out in Pro Tools is simply using the shortcut keys T to zoom in and R to zoom out. Now, if you might not have known that before, that's as simple as that. You don't have to hold any other keys. Now, what you do need to make sure you have active is what's called command focus. Command focus, let me get my smart tool back. Command focus is this little AZ button right here in the top right corner of the edit window. Now, that needs to be lit yellow right here in the edit window, not over here in the clips list. It needs to be lit yellow right here in this little edit playlist to make sure that you can use one key shortcuts. Again, that's called command focus, all right? So again, I like to use T to zoom in and R to zoom out. Makes it really easy for you to be able to navigate your session that way. You can also use Command and the brackets, or if you're on a PC, it'll be Control in the brackets. So Command in the right bracket will zoom you in, Command in the left bracket will zoom you out. Now, that makes you look like an editing ninja, an editing Jedi. Your client's gonna be like, oh my God, how did he make the track so large that way? But yes, zoom in. You always wanna make sure you zoom into the appropriate zoom level while you editing, man. If you're trying to make a fine tune edit and you zoomed all the way out here, chances are you're gonna mess something up, all right? So instead of doing that, you just zoom on into the appropriate level so you can see all the detail that you need to, and then make your edit, baby, all right? Now, there is also right beneath the zoomer tool is this little zoom toggle button, right? It kind of looks like crosshairs, and that's zoom toggle. The way zoom toggle works is that simply you click on zoom toggle and it will take your screen to a preset zoom state. Now, whatever that zoom state is, you save it by going to the preferences. And right now my zoom toggle is obviously making my track smaller instead of zooming it in. So I can change that by going up to the setup menu, preferences, go over to my operation tab, and then I go to the editing tab. You know, hey, Wavy make mistakes, baby. All right, so I go over to my editing tab, and here you have your zoom toggle section. So now you can see exactly how the zoom toggle works. So my track height, if I want my track height to be fit to window, so whenever I activate zoom toggle, it'll blow that track up. Let's try that. And then you can even use zoom toggle to change the track views and all of that. Maybe I want to go over to notes view or something like that. Well, we'll just stick to that fit to window. Right? And then when I activate my zoom toggle, you see how it just explodes that track. Or if I have a selection, it'll even blow that selection up very large so I can see it really large and clearly, make my edit however I need to, hit the zoom toggle again, and it'll go back to wherever the zoom state was previously. Pretty dope, huh? So that's zoom toggle. Another shortcut to activate zoom toggle is to use the letter E on your keyboard. Again, that's one of those command focus shortcuts. Just one key, hit the letter E, and you can zoom toggle that easily, right? So if I got a selection like, oh, let's edit this section here, hit the letter E, my selection zooms to fill my window, and I can make that edit a whole lot more easily. All right, now let's deactivate that zoom toggle. Let's take a look at the zoom controls now. The zoom controls are this, the zoom controls is this section right above the buttons numbered 1 through 5, also including these buttons 1 through 5. And we can actually start there. These buttons labeled as 1 through 5 are the zoom presets. Now, if you're not seeing your zoom controls here in the edit window toolbar, a couple things you can do. If you go all the way to the right corner of the edit window toolbar, there's a little drop down arrow that you can use to customize that toolbar. Just make sure that it's a check mark by zoom control so you can see that. Or you can always just right click on that edit window toolbar and same thing, same menu pops up there. Okay, so again, the toggles 1 through 5, these buttons are my zoom presets, and they work just like the presets on the radio in your car, where you find a zoom setting that you like. Right, you go up to the zoom preset where you want to save it. So if I want to save this zoom setting as zoom number 1, then I'll just go ahead and click and hold on number 1, and it'll pop up a little menu where I can save my zoom preset. You see a little flash. You could also command click on that number. So I can command click, you'll see it just flashes there. That means I want to save that. And if I'm on a PC, of course, that'll be control click. And then now that I've saved that zoom setting, I can zoom out, do something else. And then when I want to get back to that same zoom state, hit that number 1 again, and I'm all the way back to where I've saved that. So these are the zoom presets, and you can have 5 total zoom presets for your session, however you want to use them. Honestly, I don't use that too much, but maybe you'll find a use for it in your sessions. And then right above the zoom presets are the other zoom controls. So starting with the little arrows on the left and the right side of these zoom controls, these are your horizontal zoom buttons. These work very similar as hitting, well, it works the exact same as hitting T and R or the command brackets that I showed you earlier. It also works the same as the zoomer tool, where it just simply zooms in horizontally on your edit window, on your edit selection. That's another thing I should probably point out. Whatever you have selected or wherever your edit cursor is, that's where Pro Tools will zoom in at. So if you need to zoom in on a specific part, drop your edit cursor there and then zoom in. That way you won't have to zoom in and then start scrolling to find where you was at after you zoomed all the way in. So either make a selection over the part you want to focus on, or just simply drop your edit cursor and then use T and R or one of the other zoom shortcuts to zoom into that section. Okay. The other zoom controls that we have here is the audio waveform zoom. Look like a sideways Christmas tree. right? Now that audio waveform zoom allows you to zoom your waveform so that you can see greater detail in that waveform. Now, before y'all ask, no, this does not affect the amplitude of the audio. It only changes the display of the audio. Now, you know, the height of the waveform normally represents the amplitude, but in this case, we can just zoom that amplitude so we can see greater detail. Well, we might have thought, okay, this is, you know, pretty quiet in the beginning here. There's no actual sound, but if I zoom that in, you can see there actually is some little low-level noise in that waveform, right? And so it just helps to make your editing go a whole lot easier whenever you can actually zoom those waveforms in as needed. And the button right next to that is the MIDI zoom. So let me bring my instrument track, make that a little bit larger here, bring that in focus. Now, the MIDI zoom works very similar to the audio waveform zoom, where it will zoom your MIDI notes, right? So you can see here, I'm in notes view on this instrument track. And it allowed me to view my notes larger or smaller by hitting up or down on that little button there, okay? So that was a quick video on the zoom controls in Pro Tools. Make sure you find your favorite way to zoom. We don't even want to ever really use this zoomer tool. Again, you want to use as many shortcuts as possible so you can work as fast as possible in your session. So you can look like an editing Jedi, an editing ninja, all right? If you got a better way to zoom, if you have another way to zoom that I haven't talked about here, I think that's all of them, leave a comment below. And matter of fact, just tell me, what is your preferred method to zoom? Have you been using that zoomer tool? Do you already know about the command focus shortcuts T and R? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure y'all hit up wavywayne.com. Cop you a template, some of that Sauce Records t-shirts, or one of them F12 t-shirts or something like that, man. I love y'all, man. Be dope.